At the age of 27, I've decided I hate Christmas and I hate New Year because it's the time of year where you reflect on your life more significantly than any other year. And I think that's why mental health is often more of an issue in December and at the end of the year. This one isn't very well today. He had some vaccinations yesterday. You're not very well, are you? No? You're going to smile? No, doesn't feel like smiling today. And neither do I, really. Reflecting on my life, and I just feel I just feel like a failure. And I feel like that's my niche. My whole brand is just talking about how much of a failure I am. And I fail at that, ironically. I make videos, obviously, because I would like some views. I would like to make something out of myself. And the only thing I can think of at the moment is making videos like this, because I don't have any ideas or motivation to do much else. I have struggled with my mental health since a very young age. And I always feel like I have to justify and talk through my life story in order to make people realize it's not because I'm unambitious or lazy. I was very successful in my teenage years, and I could ramble on for a long time to try and justify why my mental health is real. But all I'm going to say is I know myself the best, and I have had severe anxiety since, as long as I have had a memory. I remember being in nursery and just not wanting to be there. Now, I have wondered if that's autism or something else, because I just don't do well in groups of people. For example, it's Christmas Day today. My kids were opening presents. I have 3 children. My kids were opening presents this morning, and that's just overstimulating for me. I was here, I was present. It brings me joy seeing my children have fun, but I do have to leave the room quite often just because it's noisy, it's loud, and I don't know what it is, but it really does get to me. I don't show it. It doesn't show on my face, but I do have to leave the room when I just get overloaded and overstimulated very easily. And this has been the case throughout my life. I left school at the age of 15 without any qualifications because of anxiety or autism or whatever it is. I'm not entirely sure anyone really knows what it is. I certainly don't. And people will say, oh, it's because of a lack of character or experience or ambition. But I've done things a lot of people will never do. I've made one of the world's most successful mobile games in 2019. You wouldn't have heard of it. It was like a little soundboard game that did very well. And I earned an awful lot of money from it. And then I've done YouTube channels. I've done an awful lot of things in the online world. I made an awful lot of money. So it's not ambition that is my issue, or a lack of motivation throughout my life. It's something going on up here. I have had bouts of significant creativity and work ethic. I have been irrational in life, and that has made me lose a lot of money and friendships. But again, I think that's because of my mental health. I make it sound like I'm an awful person. I don't think I am. I'm just not very good with communication. That's what I mean. I didn't insult people or do anything I shouldn't have. I'm just not a very good communicator. And that's why it often breaks down relationships or friendships. You okay, mister? Are we getting hungry? Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah. I don't know. I just hate Christmas and New Year. I didn't really plan on what I was going to say in this video, but No one should have to feel like this on Christmas Day. I want to enjoy myself. But as a man, I think men especially put so much emphasis on success and purpose. I don't really have a purpose other than my children, but in terms of a career or financial objectives, I don't have any. And it's frustrating because my mental health is severely impacting that. Again, I left school at 15 because of my anxiety and mental health. I didn't have any qualifications. It's not easy for me to get a job. I've gotten a job in the past, 2 jobs just in the last 18 months. One was a warehouse job, so that's not very good for your mental health. And I did leave. And then I got a desk job. It was an e-commerce administrator job because I do a lot of stuff in the online world. They thought I was quite an attractive applicant, so I was promised $30,000 a year after a 3-month probation period. But after a week, I said, I can't do this. I've got to leave because of my anxiety and possibly because of my depression as well. Although I don't think, by the way, I don't think my depression is that bad. I am quite I like to be an optimist. But maybe I'm so much of an optimist that I convince myself that I'm not depressed, when really I probably am. And there's no like trigger in my life. There was no trauma that I've experienced. I've just kind of always been this way. You might notice that I've got long hair, and it looks ridiculous. And the reason for that is because I have anxiety about getting my hair cut. And that sounds ridiculous. If anyone else said that, I would say, get a grip. You're a grown man. You've got 3 children. You need to get a hold of yourself. And I completely understand that. I completely understand where people would come from for saying that. And I've got my hair cut many times in my life. And, I get it done, and it's successful. Like, no one says you're a weirdo, or no one judges me for anything. I think people think that I'm just an ordinary person. So it's not a lack of experience. Again, I've been many times. It's just my anxiety. And on Christmas Day, you think about your life and you think, could I have changed? Could things be different? And I don't know if they could be. I really don't. Am I just stuck being this very anxious person? I've been to therapy. Oh, that was not me. I think you need changing now, don't you? This was a bit of a depressing video, but I am going to upload it anyway because I want to be seen as authentic. I don't want to upload extremely polished, edited videos, because that's another thing I hate about Christmas, is how inauthentic it seems. Let's give each other gifts because we feel like we have to. Let's engage in a fake conversation and talk about our jobs even though we don't want to. It's like, I'm not into all that. I hate a lot of the inauthenticity and overconsumption. Maybe I'm just being a bit depressed today. But reflecting at this time of year, yeah, it's not great. And then at the end of this video, I'll end the video and then I'll convince myself that everything's going to be okay. That one day I'll be successful again. I won't just be surviving, I'll be thriving. And that's what keeps me going. Really? Deluding myself into thinking that things won't be good, they'll be great. And even though I acknowledge that and I'm aware of that I'm doing that to myself, it really does keep me going. Convincing myself that things will be amazing one day. And maybe they will be. And there I go again, convincing myself of that. We'll see. Maybe I'll find something soon. But for now, I've got to change a diaper or a nappy.